in terms of school, I am one of the privileged transgender persons who was able to finish school, go to university, has a degree, and is working. That is not the reality of many transgender persons. And I will go back to some of the challenges that we face because of the lack of legal recognition, right? So today when I was coming here, they asked me for my ideas I was working in. And I realized, do people understand how important an ID is? That is the most difficult document for a transgender person to get. It took me 3 years to get my ID.
Why?
These are the challenges. The process, number one, is not well articulated. How does a transgender person change their name and gender marker? The only provisions that are there are for changing of names. And this is done through a process called a deed poll. Now, the same way Janet would be able to change her name if she gets married, wants to take the husband's name, that way. The same way if you, Latif, are going for political...
to add another name like Dada.
If you...
Dada Janet.
If you...
Actually, sorry, Jenna, but that would slap.
It's landed.
For her political, she has political ambitions.
That's exactly what I was saying. If you have political ambitions that people know you as the hammer, you want to add that, right? You do it through a deed poll process. So that is what is there. However, there are no provisions for people to change their gender markers, right? And then also, the process itself, the way it is stipulated, it doesn't seem as though it is clear on how a person moves from Anita to Adrian. Get so because of that there's extensive delays, and once you do the deed poll, now you apply for a new identification card. When you do that application for a new identification card, now that is where the rubber meets the road. I have colleagues, we started this name change process together, and it's been 5 years, they still don't have their IDs.
Wow. How were you able to get ahead? Was this just your knowledge of the system or
luck?
Luck, really?
Luck. Okay. Because we did the same thing. So I cannot explain how I got it, and he wasn't able to.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you do? Walk me through it.
Yes.
The process, yeah.
The
At
process.
birth, your birth certificate came out with your name at birth.
Yes.
And your gender marker at birth.
Yes.
Which is female. At what point did you change your birth certificate? Did you have to?
So,
and then at the point of application, because I'm assuming at the point of application you apply with your birth certificate, and here you're coming to apply as Adrian, male, and they're like, ule mtoto alizaliwa ile siku nasema ulizaliwa alikuwa msichana
na huyu umeleta hapa
ni nani?
So the deed poll process, the way it is done, you don't have to have changed your birth certificate. If here Janet wants to take up somebody's name, she's not going to have to change her birth certificate as well, right? So we do it through the deed poll process, and the deed poll process, the way it is stipulated, is you just provide the documents that you have, and then you do affidavits, and then you apply for the change of name. So you attach a lot of documents, and then once that is done,
name, does that change gender?
Exactly, and that is a matter that we are in court for. So no, it does not change your gender marker. So because again, the stipulation of the deed poll process is on changing of names, only names. There is nothing on changing of gender markers. So
if you have an ID,
and I have it with me today,
you swear all these affidavits that say I'm changing Anita to Adrian. Cool. The new ID will come out Adrian.
Yes.
With the gender marker female.
Yes. And that is where the problem is.
Because legally, in other countries, what happens? Like the countries that have progressed further, what does it look like that can be applied here?
Good. So we look at the case of, for example, Botswana, which has the most progressive and most recent court ruling, where they allow for the change of gender marker as well. So it would just read Adrian Kibe, male, because that is what you see. It is a gender marker. And we started by saying gender is who you understand yourself as and how you express. You see, no one wants to know about your sex. No one wants to know what happens on the inside. Right? They just want to know who is this person that I am seeing.
What they see on the beyond the indignity that has happened, for example, in the police cells. What's the daily reality like as well, and how do you navigate that, and even bringing it further into intergenerationally? I think, and this could be anecdotal, a young, largely open-minded demographic can help create a shift of acceptance. I could be wrong, but I think so, globally. So number one, what is the daily reality that you find yourself navigating? And number two, do you see an intergenerational shift helping in terms of acceptance? Yeah, maybe those two.
So what is the daily reality? Remember when I said, when I walked in here, they asked me for my ID. And I said, do people understand how important that ID document is? Without an ID, you can't access e-citizen. What does that mean? You can't get a shift. That means your health services, you also can't access them, because either way, if you enter into a hospital, they need to know who they are treating. So WAPI ID, so that we know who you are. You can't access buildings, right? You can't access transportation systems. SGR huwezi panda without your ID. You also can't access financial facilities. Kama it's a hustlers fund, you can't get it. Kama ni M-Pesa, you can't get it. So the life itself is very difficult. When you look at education-wise, it also becomes very difficult for someone to join higher learning or vocational training or things like that, because they lack the documentation. And so the life of a transgender person is marred by difficulty on difficulty on difficulty. While I was waiting 3 years to get this ID, I lost scholarships, I lost opportunities, I lost jobs. Like, somebody wants to employ you, but now it's like, okay, boss, what are these documents? And we see a similar case with Audrey versus NEC, where Audrey, very brilliant transgender woman, went to court and said, listen, I have my A's here. I have done my very best to be able to finish even this degree with the difficulty that I have, but I can't use it. And again, we see a progressive pronouncement to the court saying, change her name, do away with the gender marker, because what do you need a gender marker for in an educational document?
Very true.
Right? So it's a very difficult life, and without the legal recognition, you know what we call legal recognition? The right to be able to enjoy other rights, because it unlocks every other thing. With an ID, you have health. With an ID, you can open a bank account. You can do everything once you have an identification document.